live. You can go on your Facebook page now and share the video if you want.
Ooh, can I?
You could.
Maybe I'll see. I'll see if anyone's tuning in.
It's like
Do you have
super exciting.
Do you have any followers yet, Mike?
I have lots of followers.
No, but watching tonight. Like right now, at this moment.
Right now? No. But that doesn't mean we won't shortly. Welcome to the Barre Beat Podcast, live from Fly on the Wall Productions, Main Street, Barre, Vermont. Tonight with us, we have Miss Gina Galfetti.
Hello.
And the lovely Raylene. She probably gets annoyed that I say lovely Raylene. Do you get annoyed by that?
Some days.
Oh, really?
But not today.
Are you not lovely?
Not usually.
The mean and angry Raylene. Welcome to the Barre Beat Podcast. How you doing, Gina?
Oh, I'm doing great. It's good to be back. It's beautiful to see the upgraded studio.
I know, it is.
Things are
absolutely
looking
wonderful.
very, very 22nd century here.
We're loving it.
22nd century?
Not just 21st,
We're
22nd.
22nd.
Yeah.
We're loving it.
That's-
Yeah.
It's definitely nice. I absolutely love it. Tina Ruthier says good evening.
All right. Hey, Tina.
So it's been a hot minute since you've been in here.
Yeah, gosh, what's it been? Like almost a year, maybe?
It sure
Something
feels
like that. Yeah, it seems
I
like
think
it's been
so.
way too long.
I think so.
I have just been so busy trying to keep the wheels of capitalism turning with G-Force Painting, and then taking on some other work to try to wrangle some benefits out of the universe. It's a lot, but it's good to be back. It's good to be back in the legislature.
Right?
Do you not like the cats there? Trying
The
to
what?
round up the kitty cats and
Oh gosh. They're
Yeah.
not cats. They're feral. They're feral cats.
feral
They're
cats.
feral cats. They bite. They bite you. They scratch you. You end up with that cat scratch fever. Nobody ever liked that.
No, definitely
That's
not.
fun.
No.
That's
Definitely
fun.
not.
No, but it's good to be back. Nice to see you both.
Yes.
And you too.
Nice to see you. So you are here to give us a legislative update, and I didn't.
And we're
ask
just
you
gonna let
ahead
her
of
do
time
it.
Of this, I
Right?
didn't ask you, but I am going to allow people to ask questions. So
Yeah,
you
shoot.
know, if they have questions, but,
Fire away.
yeah.
The
So-
legislature this year, I mean, I think the order of the day is warp speed engaged. It looks like there's a lot of legislation that's a lot of cleaning up to do from last session that is just getting put on a slip and slide, if you will, a collision course towards passage without them being vetted thoroughly, without people taking enough testimony. It's just getting wrangled through, and the supermajority has the votes to do what they want, really.
Frightening,
Yeah.
to say the least.
Were you part of Act 127?
No. I'm going to get a shirt that says, "It ain't me, babe," made up for the campaign season.
There
This
you
has
go.
nothing to do with me.
You had nothing to do with Act 127?
No,
'Cause
no.
that completely went exactly how everybody wanted it to go.
Oh, yeah. What a mess. No,
Yeah.
and we're putting a Band-Aid on it right now with H-850, which has been passed by the governor. And it's going to do very little to change anything. You know, it gives the schools the opportunity to go back and revisit their budgets, but I think maybe only the Washington Orange School District is the only one that I've heard of that's gone back to the drawing board to rework their budget.
That sounds about right.
Predictions within the legislature were that many of the budgets would get reworked, and we'd probably have a savings of around $60 million there.
How's
But
that working out?
we're not going that direction.
Yeah. No. All the school systems, the way that I understand it, they're like full throttle head, baby. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And that's what they're doing. They're doing that. But I love the fact. I'm so glad that you were not part.
Well,
of
talking
Act
about the
127.
supermajority and
No.
getting what they want, right?
Yeah, no kidding.
Vote, baby, vote tomorrow.
Vote. yes, tomorrow, make sure that you hit the polls because it's really important to do that. But yeah, I'm really glad you were not part of 127 because
No.
what
It's
a crap show.
It's a mess, and nobody can understand what 850 has done to fix it, really. Most of the people in that building can't follow it. I being one of them. You know, the funding structure and the declining CLAs and the per pupil yield.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, the yield? Oh, the yield. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and just so everybody knows, so when you go to vote for Gina in November, remember, it wasn't her that almost made your taxes go up like $1,000 for a $200,000 home.
Yeah.
Literally would have done that because under Act 127, it would have caused the yield to be down, and all these numbers are just cuckoo cuckoo, but it would have brought the yield down to like $7,000, which would have made your taxes go
way
like
up.
$1,000 per. I want to say it was like $200,000 home, and the only reason why they changed it though was because of the elections.
Of course.
That's my opinion.
Yeah.
I might be wrong.
Yeah, and I still feel like a lot of those folks down there have enough rope to hang themselves with the amount that it's going up anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
Because you're looking at a 17 to 22% increase in your taxes depending on where you are.
It's insane.
Yeah.
It's absolutely insanity.
And then you tack that on to all the fees that we passed. I mean, I just re-registered my truck.
So how much did that cost?
$91.
$91.
Yes.
As opposed to $76.
Yes, that's wonderful. Because that money is going to be used for what now?
I think that money is going into the general fund.
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't know. I was just.
I think that's a
I'm sure
general
it's gonna
fund
be a waste of
item
money.
I thought
that
so,
could be
too.
used to fund virtually anything.
I'll say this: that is one of the most regressive taxes that we have. That and state inspections.
Yes.
State inspections are absolutely the most regressive tax we have.
Couldn't agree with you more.
Most regressive. The people that cannot afford to have their cars all spiffy and run in like they're straight off the press are the ones that are punished the most because they can't get their inspection passed, and then they get tickets for not having inspections that are good.
Yes, but we did give you the added bonus that now you can rack up as many tickets for no inspection and no registration as you want, and they can't suspend your license for it. Because that was undue financial hardship to folks.
I kind of like that. I'm not going to lie.
So you can
like
just cruise around without that inspection sticker and rack up all the tickets you want, and they're not going to suspend your license for it anymore because that wasn't equitable. But it's okay to have a regressive tax in the form of an inspection sticker.
Oh my God.
So let me get this straight. It's
Oh
only
my
regressive if you follow the rules.
Correct.
Great. I
Correct.
just wanted to make sure. So
Yes.
So if you are a law-abiding citizen, you deal with the regressive tax of inspections and registration and suffer it, or you can
become
a
an outlaw
lawbreaker and not have to deal with it.
Correct, Mike.
Awesome. That's great to know. Tina says, is it going to the potholes? I wouldn't be surprised if it's going to the potholes, but at the end of the day, it's still one of the most regressive taxes there is.
I don't think it goes. I don't think the inspection, a state inspection might go to transportation budget, but I'm not sure that no, it was on the T-bill. They did tack it onto the T-bill, so it's possible it's going to
I will say that
pavement.
The potholes you're probably talking about, Tina, are the ones that are in Barre City, and that's not the state.
No.
Well, at least they
Feel
finally
kinda
got that road
shameful.
paved
But
after
don't
the
worry.
flood. The poor
love
people
you.
on Pleasant Street.
Yeah,
Right.
After they had all the traffic routed through their neighborhood for weeks and weeks.
people were very unhappy about
They
that.
definitely
true.
were.
Very
They
unhappy.
definitely
true.
were.
But
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. I mean, there was a lot of dust, But
They had to take one for the team.
they did. And
Yeah.
they did,
Yep,
and
for
I'm
sure.
very thankful for that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, sorry, we got off on a tangent there.
Sure
What were
did. Where were we?
Where were we? 'Cause
Where were we?
Well,
I don't remember.
We just barely got going, and so we got this one thing out of her mouth before you brought up 127. So much for just letting her
It ain't
rip.
me, babe.
Yeah,
ain't you.
that's right.
I am so glad because that was such a poop show.
Ah,
It was
and,
such a poop show.
I mean, the fact of the matter is that we really need to revisit the education funding structure in a big way and come up with something simple that works.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Instead of some sort of complicated formula geared at keeping things equitable, which everybody's in favor of having things equitably done, but I don't think you can come up with a weighting system that really delivers a true picture of what that looks like. Why don't we just get all the kids educated, get them smarter, get them reading, get them doing math, and stick to that before we delve into any other issues within the school. But
I will, and you're unprepared for this, and I apologize. for
shoot,
what I'm
Again.
about to
shoot,
say.
I can see
Again.
from the
It's
look in your
so
eye.
terrible.
He wasn't going to
I can
ask you
see from the
anything,
look in the eye.
and then all of a
know.
sudden he's just.
I know
shooting
him
them out
better
at
than
you.
that.
I know,
I
I
know
know,
him better
terrible.
than that. Come on, bring
Probably
it.
getting like hate mail right now. As
Bring
we
it,
speak.
Putin.
So I will say that since I'm gonna ask you to support Andrew Perchlick's get rid of the whole cell phones in school thing. I'm just gonna.
Oh, I
throw
support
out
that
there.
completely.
Yeah.
I think it's
a big
something-
bill and there's a lot in it. But
There's a lot of stuff going on with that bill. I think that, at the very least, you should have to put your cell phone into some sort of like cubby and just make, we had
Yeah.
lockers. Now in the new generation, every classroom has a little cell phone cubby. So you can stick yours in there and, have certain numbers or something that can ring through, like if your parents start calling your phone over and over again, or you can run to the cubby if there's some sort of situation. But the cell phone needs to stay in the cubby.
that would be nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
So when you talk, I'm just passing along. I support Andrew Perchlick's legislation, and
Yeah.
would love for you to do that. It is more encompassed it encompasses way more than just the
Andrew
cell phones.
Perchlick's is a buddy of mine because at the last election, when I was catching some flack for not having my paid for by stamp on some of my signs, there was a batch of road signs that didn't have them. Well, it turned out he didn't have that sticker on his either. So I actually reached out to Senator Perchlick and said, hey, can you call the dogs off that are in your court? Because turns out you don't have that on your signs either.
Yeah.
And he was like, I can see what you're saying there. Thank
Yeah.
you. So
And,
got a lot of
he's a
respect
good
for
guy.
Senator Perchlick.
Yeah.
I do too. And I heard I comment about the whole EV thing.
Yeah.
Because he's big into the EV and I'm not, but he is. I will say that I
Nothing
really,
like a good lithium settling pond to see a
Yes.
sunset over.
Right.
But he definitely is I have a lot of respect for him, and I have a lot of respect for Ann as well, and Ann.
Yeah.
Both of them
Yeah.
they came on the Barry Beat, when they were running, and which reminds me, we're going to have to set up a time for you to come on the Barry Beat for when you run again.
Yeah. I just got to come on more frequently, period.
Yes, I agree with that.
Now that
I
I'm back
completely agree.
in Montpelier, I have a little bit
Yes.
more time. And now that gonna give a big shout out to Dan Schwenier. Dave, I called my boyfriend the wrong name. That's terrible. Dan Schwenier, who's taking over G-Force Painting while I'm doing all this stuff. Couldn't do it without him, and it's freed up some time in my schedule. So
Thankfully, huh?
yeah. Might actually get my own house painted one of these days.
You'll get there.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just completely.
So speaking of the Ed Fund,
Yes.
we got a big bill right now.
Ooh.
S18. ban on flavored tobacco products. Have you heard about this?
I have heard that. I know the state of Vermont wants to get rid of tobacco in general and all tobacco products. Full disclosure, I do not smoke. I haven't smoked since I was like a kid, and when I wasn't allowed to smoke. However, I'm not a person that believes that you should, stop people from smoking. Like through legislation, I do have a problem with.
Right.
You can't
government.
legislate morality.
You can't. Although and you would hear some people say that you can't, but then immediately try to legislate morality.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely hilarious, but not funny at the same time.
Well, the problem is that, with so many initiatives in Vermont, we have pushed towards saying that prohibition doesn't work, i.e. marijuana. That was the argument when we were legalizing recreational marijuana, is that prohibition doesn't work and we're wasting time and money on this. So why would we try to delve into the realm of prohibiting tobacco products that are still going to be legal to buy in New Hampshire and New York and
Exactly.
in Massachusetts?
Online
although
on Amazon.
Yeah, exactly. Delivered to your door. In fact, I was talking with one of the local retailers, and he ordered a flavored vape and a bottle of vodka. And they were all on his doorstep within 3 days. No age verification,
Nice.
nothing. So,
I
and no
feel
tax.
like that's illegal.
It is illegal.
Oh, okay.
It happens every day, Michael.
Yeah,
It's illegal to drive without a registration or
definitely
inspection
illegal.
sticker either.
But
But
the U.S. Postal Service can't even get its hands around the fact that fentanyl is freely flowing through the U.S. Postal Service system.
Exactly.
So they've got bigger fish to fry than a few flavored vapes and a bottle of Tito's making its way to the great state of Vermont.
Exactly.
Well, no, they're not worried about the Tito's. They're just worried about the flavor.
Yes, for
Right.
now.
Right.
For now. You can. I went into the store the other night and they had a big bucket of shots that looked like it was the cover to the board game Candyland. Mm-hmm. And you can't tell me that that's not marketed towards kids. But flavored vapes, definitely marketed towards kids. But marijuana, that's called Cherry Slurpee or Wedding Cake or Chocolate Chip Crush, that's not marketed towards kids either. Those are strains, Mike.
I don't really. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm very not very knowledgeable on the
Oh, you haven't.
the
You
vaping
haven't.
thing.
You.
I do know that my nephew was able to do like smoke rings in the vapes
Yep.
that he had. He now just smokes cigarettes, but when he was doing the vaping thing, he would be able to like make a little circle, and then he would go like this, and it would go.
Oh,
I
interesting.
don't know how to explain it.
Well, the fact of the matter is, we would all certainly like to see a reduction in teen smoking, but that needs to get done through education, because simply removing the vape
One product.
from the repertoire. And it's not just flavored vapes they want to ban. They want to ban menthol cigarettes, Cherry Skull, things that have been on the market for literally, I think menthol cigarettes have been around for over 100 years. Skull's been around for something like 60. You can tell I've done my research. And now we're coming to a point where we need to say that these things are illegal because we're trying to do some good for the kids, which I'm not against if it worked. But it doesn't work. People are going to pop on over the border to New Hampshire, load up on whatever they want. And what do you think the biggest problem is with eliminating this?
Well, I mean, I can tell you because you told me.
Oh,
But
no.
I can't tell you because maybe Raylene.
Because
can
I
give it a
told
go.
you.
You told me, so let's ask the folks out there: what happens if you get rid of the purchasing of cigarettes and vapes and all
Flavored.
that stuff?
Flavored.
Right.
Flavored.
Flavored.
Just the flavored ones.
Just the flavored ones.
Well, I think many people will go back to smoking. That's my opinion. Because I know a lot of people that do it because they're trying to quit, and they do it way less with the vapes than they did when they were actually smoking cigarettes.
And that's part of the big harm reduction model that we've been pushing and everything.
We push.
With, safe injection sites and things like that. It's all about harm reduction, but suddenly now folks that were vaping over conventional cigarettes, they don't get access to that.
And then you have the black market and the loss of revenue to New Hampshire. I mean, all of that stuff.
I do want to follow up on something that you just barely said. I want to be very kind of clear my thoughts on this. I'm a hard pass on safe injection sites.
Yeah,
you know.
Me too.
I'm just
Me
gonna
too.
say that.
I don't know if you read any of my op-eds on it, but that's not the way to go. Something, going down the path to something that's federally illegal and wasting so many millions of dollars from the opioid settlement money and from allegedly another regressive tax of taxing big pharma, which will be passed on to the end user, doesn't make any sense when a change in the administration.
And that money could be used in so much better ways.
So many better
we
ways.
Need treatment centers.
Treatment beds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with this, the vape stuff, and again, I don't really care, honestly, except for the thing that you're gonna say.
The big deal.
The big
elephant in the room is the fiscal note on the bill is wrong. Ooh. They're predicting that there's going to be anywhere from $7 to $11 million in lost revenue. It's actually going to be closer to 40 or 50 million in lost revenue for the Ed Fund.
Oh, and tell me how does that affect our taxes on?
Oh,
is that a positive effect?
Negative.
No,
that would be negative,
that
Mike.
Would be a negative effect. Wait. The legislature is making decisions that may negatively affect our taxes.
Once again, the unintended consequences.
Right. That we can deal with later, maybe.
Yeah.
After they hurt us really bad.
Yeah.
Well, we've already robbed the tobacco settlement money that was supposed to go towards education against smoking for the Ed Fund anyway. So maybe we'll just keep robbing that and not have any of this revenue coming in, which, if this bill was going to stop kids from smoking, then by all means pass it, but it's not.
Right.
It's not setting out to do what people are billing it as. And it is taking, like you were saying, valuable harm reduction tools away from folks that want to make healthier choices.
I know physicians that recommend transitioning into vape and then trying other means while using the vape.
Yep.
To quit smoking.
And I mean, there's even some schools of thought that the science has yet to really back this up conclusively, that nicotine, as long as it's not combusted, which means it's actually, like lit on fire, shall we say, I'm no scientist here, that's when it causes cancer, when it's actually ignited, when it's, like transdermal patches and things like that. They've never been able to conclusively link that to cancer. So you have that benefit there potentially, and you definitely have the benefit of seeing way lower numbers of any kind of COPD or lung usage disorders. And the American Lung Association, I believe, came out in support of vapes over conventional combustible cigarettes. So there's a lot of things in play there that are beyond, keeping certain products out of the hands of kids. It's not just about that.
It's not the route to take at all.
No.
It's a real half-ass route to take.
I do want to say Michael Deering is going on the record as well, saying that he is not for safe injection spots. As well. I mean, he's
stop,
really,
he says.
Full stop.
No, full stop, 100%.
He's really taking the risky move, just like I was, of saying that's a no-go.
Eric McGuire, the rep from Rutland, and myself spent a whole day and beyond organizing that floor debate to really get the message out that this is not the way to move forward.
Yeah.
Supporting the hub and spoke model, supporting treatment centers, you know, distributing the money to folks that really need it is the way to go, rather than investing money into a farce.
Right. Give
Because
money
Canada
to
did it, you
Jenna's
know.
Promise, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to take all the money and turn the old Windsor prison into a
Do that.
amazing rehab center. But the
insane.
state
Yeah.
promised housing there.
So Bob
The
asked.
state promised the town of Windsor housing. And so
in the Windsor facility.
right,
Yeah.
which is crazy to me because it's like a really depressed area, not a lot around, and
No, it's not a great place for
housing.
affordable housing. No.
But you know whatever.
It would be a good place for treatment
but
beds. That's interesting.
It would be because they would have everything. There's acres and acres. There's places to have. You can put trades back in there. They used to have trades there before. They can garden. They can have schooling. They can do all kinds of great things there.
Yeah.
And it would have been money extremely well spent.
So Bob asked the question of why aren't there more checks and balances? There are checks and balances. The problem is that when you have a super
Who's checking and
majority-
who's balancing?
right when
Yeah.
when the checking and balancing is done by a super majority of individuals that all think alike, that's where it gets.
We have
has
no
its problem.
veto.
Right.
There's no veto for Phil Scott. What really needs to happen, and it's not a Democrat Republican thing, because you know I know a lot of hardcore Republicans that would say that Phil Scott is not, and I would say Phil Scott is center, great guy, and we need more people
Follow
like him
Phil.
Yes,
Follow Phil.
Yeah.
follow him, and just need more people like him in
Yeah.
in our government, period.
Yep,
Because
absolutely. That's been
he
my
is-
mantra since day one.
I mean, I love the guy.
Yeah.
I think he's great.
Phil's fantastic.
He is.
There's a lot of ways you can take. Follow Phil. Phil's fantastic.
Dude, this is true.
There's a lot of T-shirts in that. But
Get
no,
some made up.
that would be the best thing that the Republican Party could do, is to just make their whole campaign slogan for this entire next election cycle: "Follow Phil."
Right.
And find candidates that he's willing to support that
Absolutely.
aren't so polarized that they're unelectable in the general election. That's the big problem. Just like we're seeing at the national level right now.
Oh, yeah.
The hardcore people come out to vote in the primaries, and sometimes the person that could win in the general election doesn't make it there.
Yep.
Sure.
Well, I mean, the thing that we got going on in the national election is that we've got, people from both sides that are just like, everybody's like,
Yeah.
everybody's like, some, I mean, that's not entirely true, but I
Yeah.
look at it as Walter versus Orange Man.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
It's definitely,
We
it's
could-
bleak. You saw the Supreme Court decision today, though.
I did.
Yeah.
And I will tell you that. So I think that was a good decision. And
It was the correct.
It was absolutely
Decision
the correct
to make.
decision. And
Yeah.
if people are trying to remove him, if they're trying to remove him so that he doesn't win, go out and vote. And that's all I have to say.
Right. That's how you remove somebody.
That's how you remove. Yeah. But anyway,
Honestly, my gut tells me we're going to have probably record low turnout in this election because people are just so fed up with their choices.
it could be possible.
It
could be
It'll be
very
interesting
possible.
to see what happens.
I think I agree with you.
Not necessarily in Vermont, but certainly nationally, I think we're going to have low voter turnout this election cycle because people are like, I don't want to vote for him. I don't want to vote for him. Maybe I just won't vote.
I don't know. There's some really. I actually think that there'll be some record high. I don't know. We'll see. It'll
We'll
be
see.
interesting. I don't think it's.
Let's
gonna
get
be
some
as-
squares going
as
on.
I was
low.
going to say
Good.
let's start a poll here. Let's get some squares going. We'll all meet up at Jerry's. Who the winner will take
Okay.
all right over at Jerry's.
We could do that.
Yeah.
We could do
Tina
that.
will let us do that. We'll have
Yeah.
a little
Tina,
game
can we do
board
that?
over there.
We'll have
at
a
Jerry's.
election night
Game board over
game
at
board over there.
Yeah, over at Jerry's. Yeah.
We need squares for the states.
Yeah.
Is that is
Every
that-
every
oh,
state we
the
could make
Super
it
Bowl
like
of-
like
oh
a like
my
a
goodness,
whole
this is an
square
amazing
thing.
idea.
I think this is good.
We could
Yeah.
get with Val. She could probably print something up.
Absolutely.
who is a sponsor of the Aired Out podcast.
Absolutely. So is Tina.
Yeah, and so isn't Tina.
Yeah.
See, Tina says sure. So we could do this, and technically, is it considered a sport? Can we consider politics a sport?
You're gonna put this on what is it? Fan base, something like that. The online
I don't know.
betting service
online
now.
gambling.
What is it?
Yeah.
Can we do that? Is it considered sports?
I don't know
gambling?
if Russian ping pong became something you could bet on during the pandemic because it was the only sport still
This could
going.
be too. You never know.
I think we need for you to look into this, Gina,
All right.
and find out whether or not we can do betting on the elections as a sport.
We're betting on states and people. We're
Is
not
this kind of like curling in the Winter Olympics? Is it really a sport?
right. Exactly.
How dare you?
It's the only Olympic
dare
sport
you.
that at our age, Mike, we still have a chance to get a medal in. Think about that. I'll be
I'm
a
not gonna
sweeper.
lie.
I'll sweep.
I like curling.
It's
I
a
think kinda
Scottish
funny.
game. I'm half Scottish, don't you know?
Oh my good Lord.
Yeah,
And the
I think-
noises too. Ha, 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 ha.
although my favorite sport, sumo wrestling.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. I was like,
The look
huh.
of bewilderment.
That was
bewilderment on
that
Gina's
was
face.
that was
It
huh?
was like, yeah. So
I feel,
anyway,
I
Sure.
feel like this
So
show just took a JD turn.
it probably did.
Yeah.
Probably did. But that's okay.
Like and I'm not really sure if that's a hard right or left. I haven't decided yet.
It's good. It's a good thing. We're having fun.
That's it.
So we're planning on going to Tina's, to Jerry's, a sponsor of the Aired Out.
Absolutely.
We're gonna check with Val to see if she will do a map.
And we got to come up with our
and
squares.
We'll have to come up with some squares and
That's
make
it.
it so that we're betting and all the proceeds go to me.
Aired Out Studios.
Oh yeah, that.
Gotta give back, Mike. Gotta give back.
Anyway, so it's going to hurt the ed fund, which could cause our taxes to go up.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
in a big way.
Yeah.
In a big way.
To
Again.
smokeless tobacco.
Vaping.
E-cigarettes. Thank you.
E-cigarettes, but e-cigarettes is the flashy one. But menthol cigarettes, like I said, Skoal, orange, what are those things? Like Swisher Sweet, Cherry. All of that stuff's gonna go that way too. And that's just
Stupid.
the other thing is those small businesses that are right along the Connecticut River that are struggling already.
Yeah.
When people can't get the things that they need there, they'll drive the extra 10 or 15 or 20 minutes
Of course
Yeah.
they will.
to go to New Hampshire where they're not paying taxes anyway.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So it just makes no
Absolutely.
sense. Makes no sense.
Are these the same people that decided to tax sugary drinks, I wonder? Probably.
We haven't done that in the state of Vermont yet, though. Not yet.
No, there's no sugar
thought they
tax
did.
yet.
Hey,
I thought they taxed sugary drinks a couple of years ago. That doesn't work for me. Like, I'll literally come over there and drive you right into next week.
I'm just saying, don't give them any ideas, okay?
Yeah.
'Cause
I
can
really,
see them
actually
doing
thought
that.
they already did.
New York
Michael
did.
Deering says, yes, there is.
There is. Well, they
they did.
did they? Well,
I know.
Did they put a
stole our
sugar tax
bags
in?
away.
Yes, they
They took
taxed
our
I
bags.
think they
drinks.
did. I think they were also toying with like raising the sugar tax again. I can't remember what program they wanted to prop up with that. I forget. There's so many.
I don't know, but let's just.
And the other
it's
good
energy
one,
drinks on energy drinks and stuff. Pretty sure they did. That's what
Yeah.
Michael says.
next moving along,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's move along.
289.
289. What's 289?
H289. It is the renewable energy standard.
Oh, this sounds like one that's gonna make my blood pressure pop.
This
Am I
is
correct?
this is the This is a bill that they came up with because to meet our 2030 carbon output goals, and part of the Global Warming Solutions Act was that all of the energy that is purchased in the state of Vermont has to be from renewable resources.
Cool.
Where's the trick, Mike? Where's the trick?
Where's the trick? Where are we going to get it from? All renewable sources. We got rid of Yankee. So now we're talking about either solar or we're talking about dams. So,
well, you're
right?
onto something there. We can't get all of our energy from renewable resources by 2030. But what we can do is increase fees on your electric bill so that we can buy carbon credits to offset the amount of and that's something that's been thrown around during this whole conversation, that we're not actually, it sounds really good. Oh, we're getting all our energy from renewables. Well, no, we're not. We're just not. The other problem with this bill is the Public Service Department was tasked with meeting this goal. So they had 18 months of meetings and testimony from different stakeholders and utilities and folks like that to come up with a way to meet the carbon emissions goals. And they can do it for, guess how much? $180 million. 289 wants to do it for $1 billion instead. So instead of going with something that could potentially cost less than $250 million, which, I mean, we're throwing around huge numbers here. Any way you slice it, this is something that's, borders on lunacy when we're not even going to be pushing towards the goal that we're looking for here. But to spend, to raise $1 billion from ratepayers, and there's a whole formula on how high they can raise rates and how many years and so on and so forth. But the bottom line is this is going to get passed on to ratepayers, and they're going to be the ones paying. And again, another regressive tax. Folks that have got solar panels that can buy into a net metering collective, they're going to see their electric bills go down. But that is not the average person.
Your average person cannot afford that. Absolutely.
No.
And I gotta say something about the carbon credits. And I
thought you'd enjoy that.
I know, those things just annoy the crap out of me, because all I can think about, and for people that are Catholic that have
Taylor Swift on her jet.
No, I don't know about that.
She needs carbon credits, man.
Right.
There was, I think the green stuff, like a lot of the green stuff, is a very religious aspect to it. Mm-hmm. And carbon credits remind me of Johann Titzel. And he would go around the countryside and say, every time a coin in the coffer rings, a soul from purgatory springs. And he was a religious fanatic. He would get people to pay money to get loved ones out of purgatory. And it's like the same thing with carbon credits. You're paying, to free yourself, absolve yourself of the sin of being a terrible person for, I don't know, wanting freaking electricity. Mm-hmm.
You're right. And I mean, and we're only pushing towards having more things electrified anyway, with a grid that can't handle it. I mean, I can repeat this rhetoric till I'm blue in the face, but nobody seems to be listening. And the Global Warming Solution Act, we are not on track to meet any of those goals.
Well, you want to know how to meet that goal? You want to know? I can tell you how to meet the goal that you want for renewable energy.
Repeal and replace. Repeal the Global Warming Solution Acts and replace it with something else that doesn't have the same targets.
I think you could easily meet all the renewable energy goals that you want by building a power plant that's nuclear. Period.
Until people are willing to have that conversation.
Right.
Yeah. Until people are willing to have that conversation.
Not nuclear.
Nope. Nuclear.
I have to be very careful because I
Right.
can easily say nuclear. Nuclear.
Nuclear.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking
We
right
both
at
went the same
you.
place.
I'm looking right at you, Boone. I see you
Clarice.
over there.
Yep.
Anyway. So,
Chianti.
okay. Yeah. Oh man, we're going,
Enough of you,
we're
Boone.
going
Enough
down
of
the
you,
road
Boone.
that-
But yeah, it's total lunacy to think that, the average Vermonter, low wage earning Joe and Jane trying to get by are going to be able to pay for all these different taxes. I mean, you can't expect to hike somebody's property taxes 20% in a year and then have their electricity bill going up and their home heating oil bill going up. I mean, where does it end? And it's we talk about a workforce shortage. Well, who wants to stay?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Who can afford to stay? Who can raise a family here? I mean, dark days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good that we have you there to.
Oh,
as a
I'm
bulwark.
organizing all the floor debates that I can, Mike, to try to get the word out because at this point, being in the super minority, the only thing that I can really do other than have some effect on things that are coming through my committee is to be as vocal as possible in that building and get the message out about what's going on there and, bring these issues to the people so that they can start making decisions to just come out and vote and try to turn the tide. Because a lot of people are so apathetic in Vermont. It's like, geez, we're we're a state of 680,000 people, somewhere around there. Mm-hmm. This is a state where your vote makes a difference.
It does. And,
It truly does. It really does.
We've got less people than, most other states. And your vote really matters here, especially on the local level. Tomorrow, vote.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Get out and vote, folks.
Yep. Absolutely.
And then again on May 14th.
In May 14th, vote for Mike
And in November.
Michael Deering,
Yes.
and tell Tom to run.
The
for
two
mayor.
Mikes.
Yeah, and tell Tom Lozon to
Tell
run for
Tom
mayor.
to run for mayor.
That's right.
Mike and Mike.
Mike and
Mike and
yes.
Mike and Tom. Tom, Mike and Mike.
That's right.
Yeah.
Vote for Mike and Mike. But yeah, happy birthday, Vermont.
Yeah, today.
Was it today?
Yeah.
Today's birthday?
Today is
Oh.
Vermont's birthday.
Oh, gosh.
That's
I
good to
just
know.
heard that it was National Snack Food Day.
Really?
It's National
Yeah.
Sons Day, and it is Vermont's birthday today.
That's way more important.
yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. Then, although I did learn this morning that the Rice Krispie treat is now the top snack in the United States.
Let's be honest. It's pretty dang yummy. I'm just saying.
Homemade.
Yeah. Yes. Tina Ruthier says, yes, vote. Tom Lozon for mayor. Mike and Mike.
That's right.
Yes.
Can't we just write him
That's
in?
right.
So I think we should. We
yeah,
should. I've been saying
absolutely.
right along that we need to draft the man. We need him
Yeah.
to run because we need a mayor that's actually going to be able to pull the strings to make things come to light. Tom has this ability in general to make things happen with his sheer his sheer will.
Yeah.
Like
And his work ethic.
And he has the knowledge.
He has the knowledge.
He has
and
the
he has
power
the
of
contacts.
people and the
Yeah.
Everything that we need in our city at a time where our North End was devastated.
Yep.
We're struggling with a housing crisis. And, we need somebody
That's a clear
that
leader.
has the Rolodex
Yep.
and the will to make it get done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why I fully support him. But you also need a council that's going to back him.
Yeah.
Because if
Right,
you
and work
have the
with him.
person running, and while that person is running to bring goodness to Barre, and the council is shoving darts in their back, they will not get all the way. I mean, Tom would anyway, just because of who he is.
Yeah.
But you have to have a council that's pushing the person.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why.
The man's a
Working with them.
dynamo.
Yeah.
I mean, he's up at like 4:00 every day and
No
goes to
kidding.
sleep at like 2:00.
I
He
know.
sleeps 2 hours. He's
does
like
not-
Superman.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Anyway, so what's the next bill you got? Or do you
Well, let
got
me
one?
have a look here, Mike.
We'll have a look.
Got some other ones that are coming up. Oh, 258. They want to get rid of coyote hunting, trapping. It's a big one.
Trapping or tracking?
Trapping. Animal trapping. Vermont tradition, Mike.
I know.
Vermont
but
tradition. Slippery slope to be trotting on.
I know. So hear me out. Hear me
Sure.
out on the trapping. Because I get it. I get it. Believe me, I get it. But I do not like.
He's squishy.
I am squishy on this one. I'm not a fan of trapping. Only because, one, it could be my dog.
Which is
a trap that's, left somewhere and I'm like walking with my dog. It's not going to happen. I get that it's not going to happen, but it could happen.
Well,
and
that's
those
the
traps are
thing.
not
They
fun.
appeal to your fears with this whole thing. That
Okay.
trapping is going to entrap your dog and, things like that, where responsible trappers that are trapping, which is the pretty much all of the trappers that are here in Vermont, they're not running into these problems. It's and then hounding for coyote the coyote population, and the fact of the matter is, it's not just that they want to get rid of trapping and coyote hunting. It's that they want to get rid of the Fish and Wildlife Board as it's set up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's Fish and Wildlife Board set up with one member from every county who's a consumptive user. And now they want to change it to 4 people elected by the Committee on Committees, 4 people elected by the Speaker, and 4 people elected by the Commissioner of Wildlife. And you no longer have to you can be a non-consumptive user and be on this board that sets all the rules for hunting and fishing in the whole state. And so if you hang a bird feeder in your backyard, you're now qualified to sit on the board.
Yeah, that's a hard
not
pass.
okay.
Yeah.
Very hard pass.
Not trapping, but like hunting with hounds, that's way different than trapping.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing with trapping, and I'll get a lot of hate for it, and I'm okay with that. I tell it the way that I feel that it is. I'm not squishy on this one. It's one of those things where it's extremely painful for the animal, and I think that it's just too much. But hounding, although the fear of being tracked down by a hound is not very pleasant, but I think that one they should not be going after that.
All right.
Gina says she's not a fan of trapping yet. Not a fan of trapping yet. Know people that survived from it and hunting. Control by non-consumptive user. No.
Right. Control by non-consumptive user, question mark.
Oh.
And she's saying that she agrees she's not a fan of trapping, yet she knows people that survived from doing it and hunting as well.
Yeah.
But then she's questioning what a non-consumptive user is, which just means somebody that doesn't hunt, fish, trap, any of that stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
I misread it. I'm sorry, but I read it the first part correctly, which is she's not a fan of trapping.
Right. Yeah.
See, that's because Tina's a nice person.
She is. See? Yes, I love her to death.
What else have we got in here on the agenda? Let's see. The Truth and Reconciliation Committee has been extended by 10 months, and they are going to be allowed to kind of thwart open meeting law, which is very disturbing. It's a bill that I ended up voting for because there's a lot of stuff within the bill that makes sense. However, I'm a big hard no on the fact that they're going to be able to close these meetings off because some of the stuff may be difficult for people to come forward with if it's an open meeting. So that's another.
Sort of sounds like our DEI stuff.
I was just gonna say, didn't the city council just kind of go through something very similar to that?
Yeah, Yeah.
Just a week
I think
ago,
this is
I believe.
a common theme. I don't know what it is about, in general, DEI and
The
wanting to
secrecy.
not be in the public.
Not wanting to be inclusive, you mean?
Yeah, not inclusive to the public. I'll just leave it at that because that could get us into a whole bunch of trouble. So let's move on to like something that is just as exciting as that, and tell me about the thing that we spent days on.
Oh gosh, that would be the discrimination based on hairstyle bill. We took days and days and days of testimony on a bill that.
Are you shitting me?
Yes,
No,
we did.
she's
That's
not
the
shitting
important
you.
work that we're doing in the legislature. Albeit, it's very unfair for somebody not to be able to wear their braids, protective hairstyles, dreadlocks per se. But when there's so many other important things facing the state of Vermont right now,
You're not
like
kidding.
housing, we haven't put out one housing bill, not a single one.
Wow.
And to worry about something like a hairstyle bill for days just seems a little
It's
ridiculous to me.
disgusting.
In defense,
That is disgusting.
in defense, when I talked to Gina about this, I spent like 20 minutes talking about this.
Yeah, but that's
'Cause I was
disgusting.
like going nuts
That's
on it.
you.
Yeah.
But that's not.
Yeah.
That's not
Well,
them trying to
feel
work.
like-
I mean, my God, that's disgusting. Do you know how many people died this year of fentanyl overdose?
Yeah. How
Yeah.
about we have that conversation? That's
Yeah.
that's a very valid point. Like that's the kind of conversation that actually impacts lives immensely.
Or that might.
Yeah, and we did safe injection sites. That's our answer to fentanyl
Yeah.
overdoses.
Because that works wonderfully.
Yeah, that works
helps the
great.
problem.
We'll go right along with the Canadian model because it works so well that we'll have to transition over to safe supply. I hear is the next thing that they're thinking of doing in Canada. So they give you the drugs at the safe injection site.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I can't even.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a nervous breakdown right now. Like,
But they
for
did it
real.
in Portugal, so we must have to do it
I don't
here.
think that's what they did.
No,
in
they
Portugal.
haven't done
No.
safe supply anywhere
no.
They
yet.
haven't.
But that's
What they
something
did
that's
is
being
they
floated.
decriminalized, and it was very bad for. It ended up like, the way that I understand it is it got really bad, and then it started going down.
Yeah.
And in Portugal, but what they did was they legalized it, and that's a libertarian kind of take to it, and there's a part of me that sympathizes with that belief structure that we should allow it to happen, but the problem is, we
need the
structure
resources
is
for
way
people.
different here than it is in
We need the
Portugal.
resources for people to choose something else before we worry about providing them with safe
And we
places
definitely
to
do not have resources.
inject. And we don't have the resources at all. So we're basically putting and there's mobile sites are also included in that. And I actually helped Eric McGuire get an amendment on that bill to make sure that municipalities would ultimately have oversight on whether or not one of these places went into their town. But the mobile site would still have to have municipal approval. But picture an ice cream van with a syringe on the top driving around from place to place. It just is.
I just can't even.
With no services, with no services, and you can't tell me that if you put a mobile site in a rural part of Vermont that folks aren't going to be driving down there and then doing whatever drugs they're doing and then driving away. You can maybe make the argument that this works in some place like New York City where people are walking from a 5 to 12 block radius, but
Does it though? I mean, are people really using safe injection sites?
Yeah.
They do use them? Like, I feel like that's, like, if I was a druggie,
yeah.
I shouldn't say druggie. It's not very
So,
nice.
But
if I
it's
was a
literally
person that
because
was
they have
doing
nowhere
drugs,
else to go.
right.
I don't know if I would go.
If you were an addict that doesn't have money that day, and that is your one way to not hurt, because that's what happens when you withdraw. Your whole body hurts, you get sick, everything. So if that was your one way to get that fixed, to just make you feel good enough to get going that day, Then you could spend the rest of your day hustling for everything else you needed.
But safe injection sites are places that you bring your stuff in.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, though. Like, if I'm bringing my stuff in, I don't know if that's like,
I think that
do I do it here or do I do it at the safe injection spot?
I think that the usefulness of this is very localized to some place. And when I say I don't, just because I say it's useful doesn't mean I think it's effective as far as harm reduction or treatment model.
Right.
Is in a place like Burlington where you've got a large homeless population, and that maybe they would choose to go to the nice, warm, safe injection site over using on the street. But when you're talking about rural communities, I really can't picture anybody who's struggling with drug and alcohol addiction popping in their car, driving down to the safe injection site 3 or 4 times a day, using there, and then driving home. It doesn't work. That the model does not work in a rural setting.
Spend the money elsewhere, folks. Spend the money elsewhere.
And it's federally illegal. It is illegal federally.
Also isn't marijuana.
But this was something that I believe it was Christina Nolan, when she was, she's the state's attorney?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Said that she would, aggressively prosecute. This is not something like, we're the 29th state to legalize recreational marijuana. This is something that, we would be one of the first states to be doing this. It's been studied in Rhode Island. They keep talking about Rhode Island, but Rhode Island's safe injection sites aren't even open yet. So there's no real study or information that's come out of that or anywhere in the United States.
Well, you know what? I'm not going to lie to you. Why not? Screw it. Let's just do it. And at the same time, why don't we just start paying everybody $2,800, which is what we're paying for people to live in the hotels anyway. So,
we capped that.
Let's just capped
How
much did you cap it at?
$80 a night.
Yeah, which equals like $2,800 a month. Give some,
it's better than $3,000 a week or whatever.
I might be wrong. I think it's like $2,400 a month.
Yeah,
$2,400 a month, and might as well just whatever. You should just write checks for $2,400 versus, the hotel voucher so that they can get an apartment.
Right. If there was an apartment for them to get.
True. That's the reason why you need to elect good council members that are gonna
get affordable housing
development done.
Right.
Yeah.
Hashtag Michael.
That's Mike and Mike, not to be confused with Mike and Ike. Mike and Mike.
So Bob makes this comment. I love this comment. It's hilarious. Let's leave the hairstyles to the hairdressers and not people who are paying to create laws and make decisions about our lives.
Yes, please. Please.
Actually, Bob, I'm going to say this. Let's get the hairdressers in that building.
Right.
And have them.
Maybe they'll make great decisions.
About our lives.
Right, exactly.
I feel like they listen to us way more.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Ready?
Unfortunately.
Come on. I deserve that.
All right.
Anyway. What else you got? You got anything? We're hitting an hour here, so if you don't have anything else that you want to,
I think those are pretty much the highlights.
That's
Let me just take one little.
Take one more piece.
Oh, neonicotinoid continents pesticides. That's been a big one.
Pesticides.
Which I seriously cannot. Neonicotinoid pesticides. They are a pesticide that will penetrate the hard shell of a bug. And they can be particularly troublesome to people who keep bees. And they're used, basically, they use them a lot on golf courses, which, I can get past that. But the problem is that pretty much all corn seed is treated with them. So it leaves the farmers not a lot of options when they're looking to, get their seed stock every year. So there's pros and cons with that one too. But I've been getting a ton of mail. The bee people have organized a very good campaign to get that one done. But I don't know if it's gonna make it all the way through. We'll see.
So based on what you just said, because I don't know anything about it, I'm just going to make the comment, save the bees. Because there's actually like a colony die-off, I think it's called.
Oh, yeah, no, we need to save the bees, but
it's a huge problem. I don't know if this chemical is causing that, but
this chemical is certainly contributing to the death of bees. However, if it's used in certain responsible ways, that impact can be limited, albeit, you know, when they have an alternative. That's the big problem, really, right? You know, if you can't get your corn seed as a farmer that hasn't been treated with this,
right,
what are you going to do?
Right. We need to have the corn seed.
We need corn seed.
So there has to be a happy medium.
There has to be a way to get this done, and we need to be looking into other pesticides or biologically friendly agents is what we really need.
Yeah, if it's hurting the bees, I'm like all in for
And
the bees.
And screw the corn farmers.
Well, I'm not saying screw the corn farmers, okay? I'm just saying that we need to think about the bees. Like the concern about the bees, like colony, I think it's called colony die-off.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's
it's a big problem for sure. We definitely need to save the bees, but as far as like a chicken and an egg kind of scenario, it potentially is getting blown up a little bit. Let's just say that.
I think more information is needed on that one.
Exactly.
My initial thought is,
save
Michael's
the bees.
hashtag
right.
pro bee.
Me too. When
Save
they came
the
to
bees.
the,
We're all pro bee here.
yes, we all love the bees.
We love the bees.
Bees are good.
Oh, I miss the bees. We used to have bees for Barre City. The bees. They used to ride around. They had the yellow shirts on.
Oh yeah, and they were high school students, weren't they?
College students.
College
Some of them
students.
were high school students, I think.
Nice.
Anyway,
Huh.
we called them the bumblebees or something. I can't remember. We used to call them the bees.
All
It
right.
was like a $30 program or $30,000 program where we hired.
I was like, a
kids.
program? How can you even call it a program for $30?
Yeah,
Mike?
exactly.
What kind of program is that? We're going to cut a penny 10 ways. Everybody gets a sliver and they can pick their teeth with it.
Good Lord.
All right. Well,
Any
we hit an
questions
hour.
from anybody?
Do we have any questions out
I
there?
think we were asking as we went. I mean, we just had
No.
a couple. We said what people were saying as we went, and I don't have any on my end. I'm on the AO page. I can't see everything like you can from over there, but I think we're good.
All right.
I think so too.
Just want to remind everybody to tune in tomorrow morning to Shits and Giggles at 9:00 right here on Aired Out for we're going to sit down with Will Adams from Optical Expressions, talk about the eclipse eye protection. We're going to talk about the free glasses that we'll be handing out here at the studio, and then talking all about their brand new space right here in the city.
Nice.
I went up there.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
It's very nice.
The elevator opens on floor 4.
Oh, the one in
and there
Lash.
they are. Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Nobody knows what that is anymore.
Lash.
Lash
Everybody
furniture.
knows what
Right.
Does
Lash
everybody
is.
still know what it
Everybody
is?
knows
Not
it. I mean, it's
anybody who's from here, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, people are getting used to the Blanchard block, but everybody
Yeah,
knows
it
it's
will
the
always
Lash
be Lash
Furniture.
Furniture Building
Always.
to me.
It's really old. It's the old J.C. Penney building.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, you have to be really old.
you'd
for
have
that
to
one.
be like
super old.
beyond old.
Yeah.
You might have to
I've
be in the
probably seen
graveyard to remember
pictures,
that.
Yeah.
I think we may have hit that benchmark, Mike.
Tina says old residents know, so you better be careful.
Yeah.
Old residents
Yeah.
know. Old residents
She's not
know.
that old, so
She's not that old.
No,
but
not at all.
all I know is that she is 55. She's at
What are you
least
talking
55.
about?
She has to be at least 55. I think
Who?
she retired.
Tina? No,
Tina
she's
Rubio.
39 if she's a day.
Why does she have to be? If she retired,
'Cause
why
she
does she?
was on the
39
old
if she's a
plan, and
day,
She knows what
Tina.
I'm talking about.
Why does it mean that she
39
has to
if
be
she's a
55
day.
to retire? Maybe she's just
She wasn't on the old plan?
maybe she's just was a really hard worker, and
You don't know how she made all that money during the .com boom?
right.
No.
She just retired
She
early.
used to- no. Okay. Okay. Here's the deal.
I'm sucking up, Tina.
Yeah. So for the record, Tina used to work for National Life, and I thought she told me that she retired from National Life, which would put her in the old plan. And the old plan had a metric of 55, something like that. So I thought,
Off with
she
it.
got out of the metric. Okay, in that case, she's in her 40s.
39 and holding.
She's gonna kill me.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
dead, man.
In my defense,
I hope
was
you don't
only
need the
basing-
Jeep fixed
I was
anytime
only
soon.
basing my.
I hope you don't need the
on
Jeep fixed
National
anytime
Life thing.
soon.
That's
That
where
is
I was going
the
too,
only thing.
Raylene. I think I heard a knife going into a tire out there,
Yeah,
Mike.
I do too.
That could be problems.
Yeah.
I love you, Tina. I love you.
You owe her big
I'm in
time.
a lot of trouble.
Yeah, you are.
We can.
You're done.
All right. I'm running.
On that note,
I'm running on that note.
See you in the morning.
All right. Yes.
see you in the
See
morning.
you
Don't
in the
forget to get
morning.
out and vote, everyone.
Yes, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. at the Barre Auditorium for Barre
Yes.
City, and 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. at the Barre Elementary School.
And if you are in the
Berry
town of
Town
Berlin,
Elementary
also a sponsor of the Aired Out podcast, the polls open at 10 and they are open until 7 p.m. at their town clerk's office. And get up there and vote as well. They are trying real hard to pass the options tax in the town of Berlin.
Can I put you guys on the spot?
You can try.
Who do you want?
For tomorrow,
Yeah.
I want Stevens, Hellman, and I do not want the school budget to pass. No.
Okay. Well, I didn't ask about the school budget.
Well, you asked me
Whalen.
what I wanted for tomorrow. I'm telling you.
Whalen, Farrell,
Yeah.
and I don't want the school budget to pass.
Yeah. And Whalen and Farrell, too, because that's where I'll vote is Barrytown. But I'm rah-rah here in the city. And I'll probably spend most of my day in the city with everybody up there. Just because that's just what I do. But I'm going to the town to vote. And absolutely, Alice. You know how I feel about Alice. Love the lady. She's just great.
We're
Love
gonna
her.
get her to come
And
on
Kate's
more
gonna, I
often.
think, would do a heck of a job too.
we're
She's
gonna-
Yeah,
she's
I
awesome.
just I
Have you
got
met
to
her?
meet. Yes, I got to meet her the other
I think
night.
she's gonna be a really
I do too.
nice,
I do too.
moderate addition to
And
the board.
so,
Fingers crossed.
If we can get all four of those ladies, we're kicking it.
yeah.
Just telling
All
you.
right. So Raylene and Gina have spoken, and hopefully we're going to get Alice on the show more often.
Yes.
And maybe we can get Gina Galfetti on the show more often.
Yes.
Okay.
Just
I
pencil
just want
me
you to
in
know
for one night a week, 2 nights.
my
2 nights a month.
calendar. My calendar.
Pick my next day.
Look, see, it says Gina Galfetti every other week on my calendar.
Why don't you call me? You never call. You never write. It goes months and I don't hear from you, Mike.
So sorry.
And I promised myself I wouldn't cry today. It's horrible.
All right. Everybody, thank you for watching the Barry Beat podcast.
Have a great night.
Live from the Fly on the Wall Productions, Main Street, Barre, Vermont.
It's
Thank
Monday
you, Gina,
night.
for coming in, and of course, Raylene. See you all, and have a wonderful evening.
Thanks, everyone.